Hey fans, it's Erick Blackwelder here, and today's topic is how to buy a house in Northern Virginia. And I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of the steps from the beginning to end of how to buy a house and break it down to the simple. So, we're going to go from the beginning to the end of the process. Now, the first thing you want to do is check how much money is in your wallet. Excuse me. You know, before you go into a store to make a purchase, you check inside your wallet to make sure you got enough cash, or you got your credit card with you and you know how much of a balance you have. Well, or if you're going to make a big purchase, you make sure that there's enough money in your checking account to pay for that purchase. Well, it works the same way when you buy a house. So you go to a competent loan officer and you sit down and have a conversation and you find out how much that you can get pre-approved for. Not pre-qualified, you want to get pre-approved. So you'll get pre-approved and get a pre-approval letter. Now, what you're pre-approved for and what you spend may be two different things. For example, the loan officer may say that you're pre-approved for $750,000, but you say, whoa, I'm more comfortable spending $550,000. Well, if $550,000 is what you want to spend, then don't go a penny more. You don't want to be house poor? That's fine with me. Next thing to do is find a competent realtor. How can you do that? Well, a good place to start is with friends or family, someone who can give you a good realtor by referral. Or another place you can find a good realtor is by calling me. That's right, me. Kind of self-serving here, but hey, after 25 years and 2,000 folks I've helped buy a house, I think I know what I'm doing. Anyway, sit down and have about an hour conversation with that person. Find out what makes them tick. And find out how much they are willing to go along with what's important to you. Find out, do they really want to work with you at $550,000, or are they the kind of agent that finds out that you're qualified to buy $750,000 and they want to keep pushing you at that $750,000? There are agents out there who want to do that. They know that you qualify for $750,000 and they want to keep pushing you to that $750,000. When you find that type, don't walk, run away. Now, with the internet and the ability to get on MLS, you'll be able to get on there and see houses. And you'll be able to take what we call virtual tours of houses. That's where you can look at homes and go inside them taking photo tours, or you can take video tours of houses. And the typical home shopper, according to the National Association of Realtors, will take virtual tours of 40 to 50 houses while they're shopping for a home. And they will typically take 8 physical showings of houses when they are shopping for a home. So when you go out with your realtor to shop for a home, typically you will go through 8 houses before making a choice. Now that's the average. Average means that there are some people who walk into the first house they see and they say, yep, this is it, this is the one. And there's others who take 16 houses to find the one that fits what they need. So, an average of 8. Now, When you find the house that fits what you're looking for, you're going to submit an offer. And in Virginia, the offer is the paperwork that is used to create a contract once the offer comes together by the parties. It's sort of like asking someone, do you want a piece of cake? As opposed to putting the piece of cake in front of them. You know, if you ask them, do you want a piece of cake? They say, nah. If you put the piece of cake in front of them, they say, oh, okay, and they eat the cake. Same thing, you put a contract in front of them with an offer on it, it's easier for them to say, well, okay. Now there's 4 types of offers that you can make on a house. A typical offer, if there's no other competing offers on a house, is a typical seller is prepared for an offer that is, say, 2 to 3% below their asking price. So that can come in the form of lowering the price, or someone saying, I'll give you your price if you will pay some of my closing costs. Say 2 to 3% of the price toward closing costs. If there are multiple offers on a house, and we're seeing that right now on really nice cream puff houses, then typically I will counsel folks to say, okay, what is the highest and best that you can do on this house? Let's say the house is priced at $450,000. Where would you feel comfortable going over that $450,000? In other words, if I said to you, okay, you offered $470,000, and I came to you and said, you got beat by somebody who offered $480,000, and you said, well, we would have offered that, then, you know, you needed to offer $481,000 or $485,000. You know, so come in with your best foot forward. Now, the third type is to offer what we call a lowball offer. And that's an offer that's, say, $15,000 to $25,000 below the list price. Now, I typically recommend that folks don't do that, because all it does is create an animosity between you and the seller. You know, you go in $25,000 low, they're typically going to say, oh, this isn't a serious offer, and they'll reject it out of hand and send it back with a note that says, come back when you can afford to buy the house. Or they'll come back with a hard counteroffer of, say, the full price and no terms. So that's the lowball offer. And then you can make another offer from there that's somewhat higher and see if they'll play ball. So that's the lowball offer. Now, once your offer is accepted, we have a contract. And I make sure that there are some bailout clauses in the contract. The 2 most important bailout clauses are for the home inspection and for the appraisal. First, with the home inspection. This is an opportunity for you and a competent professional home inspector to go through that house with a fine-tooth comb and to check that house from top to bottom, going inside the attic, going behind walls in the basement, looking at the systems of the house like the heating and air conditioning, to check the appliances, to check the sump pump, to check everything in that house, to determine, are there any problems in the house right now, and what are the life cycle costs associated with the systems in the house. So the heating and air conditioning, how old is it and how long do they usually last? Is it a heating system that was just replaced 5 years ago and they last 30 years? Or is it a system that lasts 30 years and it's 25 years old? Is the roof nearing the end of its life? So these are things that we want to find out more about. Are there plugs in the walls that have reverse polarity? Are there GFI circuits that don't work that are near water? All these different things. And so when we get the report back, we choose which items that you would like to have the seller repair prior to settlement. Give them a list of those items and have them repair them at their expense. The seller has two choices. They can either say, yes, we'll repair them, or they'll say, well, we'll repair some of them, but not all of them, or they'll say we won't repair any of them. And that's a time when you can bail out. You can say, well, are these problems that are going to be big problems for us and we don't want the house? Or are they little problems that you look at and say, well, okay, we'll take them and fix them ourselves. And so you'll keep the house. The second bailout clause is for the appraisal. And the appraisal is done by the bank because the bank issuing your loan does not want to take a loan on an overpriced piece of collateral. So the appraisal is done by a professional licensed appraiser based on the values of other homes surrounding the home you're buying in that area. If the appraisal comes in at the appraised value or above, everybody's happy. We go to settlement at the price that you offered that was accepted, and everybody's good. If the appraisal comes in below the contract price, then everything stops. And we first go to the seller and say, okay, the appraised value was lower. If you will lower your sales price and go forward, we'll buy the house at the lower price. The seller says yes, great, we move forward. If the seller says no, at that point you can bail out and go find another house so that you're not buying an overpriced house. Or if it's a matter of $2,000 or $3,000 and you really want the house and you've got $2,000 or $3,000 you could kick in as an extra part of the down payment, you could do that. Finally, at the end of the road, we have settlement. And that's where buyers, sellers get together at a settlement attorney's office with the attorney at the head of the table. And that's where you sign until your wrist gets sore, signing all of the loan documents to take possession of the house. And the seller hands you the keys and the garage door openers if there's a garage. And you take possession of the house that day and you get to move in. So I like to call that celebration day. You get to celebrate moving into your new house. So those are the steps to buying the house. If you want to see more about it, read the article below this video and it will explain it to you. So, anyway, it's Erick Blackwelder here, Exit Realty Associates, wishing you a great day. Bye now.